Just a couple of best friends hanging out, best friends hanging out, best friends hanging out.
All right, you motherfuckers. I got special guests here today. I'm really pleased to have Bacon on my podcast for the first time. How are you doing today, Bacon?
I'm really excited to be here. I really love the last week of football. I'm really a fan of
Thank you, Bacon. I'm glad that you're such a big fan of my podcast, and also that I have the best guests on my podcast. I wasn't able to get the crow or bird on my podcast this week, but I'm hoping to get him next week. He's rather booked up. So Weaver, if you can shoot me those contacts. But yeah, Bacon, go ahead and pull that mic up to your face a little bit. It's still pretty far away. Dude. But yeah, all kidding aside, I do have a guest, but it's not Coach Bacon.
How's that? Is that better?
Any guesses in the in the podcast world who it could possibly be? By God, that's Bolenbaugh's music.
Hello.
Yeah, I was able to entice Adam to come out and do a podcast with me, which is more than what I could say for O'Malley, who refused to do it. He's like, I don't do podcasts. I just criticize them. And I was like, that's the most O'Malley thing I've ever heard. So we're drinking some beers, and we're actually just a couple of best friends hanging out right now.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I took a midnight train to Concord.
Did you really hit? No, you drove here. Yeah. Is that what we're calling your car now? The midnight train to Concord. No, I didn't know that. I like how the backup vocalists in that song just repeat everything, but like way more extra. Superstar,
Yeah.
but he never got far.
That's really what I should have been instead of a demand planner. Was really a backup singer.
I've been
in the
telling
60s soul band.
Dude, I've been telling you. Your musical abilities are right up there with your physical brand of comedy. I'm a big fan of your vocals.
If anyone didn't see, I just jostled with giggles when he said that in my physical brand of comedy.
Yeah, so today we got Adam coming fresh off a win.
Woo!
We got Stu coming fresh off a loss. I put up some points, though, so I'm not totally disappointed. I put up my worst score of the year, but it was 128, so wasn't that bad.
You know, I thought the entire league actually did really well. I think Bill commented about it earlier, but it was a really good showing, save a couple certain people. We'll get to them. Did not score as well as they would have liked.
O'Malley, though, with a is that his highest score of the year?
I'll do some research.
This is the kind of fact check we need. But I also want to shout out all of the Condor boys for making nationals. That's pretty awesome.
Ow!
It's been elusive for the last few years, but they made nationals, right?
That's what they. Yeah, we were.
Oh, I thought you said "ow" like I was being a dick.
Oh no! I was. I confirmed the fact we were checking, so that's what I was for.
Dude, you had me like feeling like a total dick. I was like, wait, did they not make nationals?
No, they totally made it.
They got past the mighty Sundowners, who've made semis for the first time ever.
Dude, that's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah. So good stuff in Frisbee. It just took me to retire for all this good shit to happen to people.
What does Simmons call that? The Ewing theory, when your best player leaves and then the team gets better sometimes.
Dude,
it's just too talented.
I think that's got to be it. That's got to be it. Sundowners got a lot better with old Stu on the bench. Who knew?
Where was it? It's San Jose.
No, I wish I would have gone. I think it was like near Riverside or something like that.
Oh Jesus!
So I think they have nationals in San Diego though.
Ooh,
might be fun to check it out.
Maybe.
Want to make the trip? Come on. We'll hop in the midnight train to San
We'll just
Diego.
Take that midnight train to San Diego. Get there literally 12 hours later.
Yeah. Dude, oh my God. When they, even just from Santa Barbara to San Diego to go to like practices and stuff like that, I was like, you guys are insane.
Coming back from tournaments, even from like Long Beach, when you just hit that traffic on a Sunday and you're just sitting on 405, just like hating yourself.
And me, fam.
Luckily, San Diego's on the 5, but still brutal.
So, do you have a sponsored read for us?
Word got out that I was coming. I don't know. Maybe it was my agent. Maybe it was my agent's agent. I'm not really exactly sure how it got out.
Asian agent.
My Asian agent's agent. But yeah, a certain company reached out, so I'll read it. So let me get into character.
It's not, dude. Okay.
All right.
Gangs of New York. You gotta like.
This is my Daniel Day-Lewis reading.
I've abandoned my boy.
All right. Quiet on the set. Raise your hand if you like fantasy football. Raise your hand if you like alcoholic beverages. Raise your hand if you like greasy foods. Raise your hand if it gives you blinding heartburn. Now take all 4 of your hands down. Wipe your tears from your eyes. Put back on your charred or drowned Cam Newton or Derek Carr jersey and go straight to get some Prilosec OTC FF today. The leading solution to your 10-hour Sunday heartburn marathon is now a higher dosage football-ready, slow-release capsule. So make sure you get it all throughout the day. Go, it's Prilosec OTC FF. Don't start your next Sunday without it. Thank you, Prilosec.
Dude, they paid us too. Big time.
Huge cash.
Dude, huge
They
cash.
paid for my ticket.
I wish they would have given me some of their pills though, because I was dying yesterday.
Yeah. I only watched the night game last night, but I've just had the worst gas. I don't think it's from heartburn.
I didn't see that going in that direction.
Gas X is next week's. It's all just
Adam's
prescription
really
based.
gassy. Yeah. It's over the counter.
Yeah.
So you did miss the Raiders game then?
I did. I saw the. I thought, Vikings have turned into a grind 'em out running team. The Raiders
they're Gruden's they're grinding Gruden's grinders.
They're grinding Gruden's grinders.
Oh, no.
I thought watching the Raiders suffer through that, me suffer through the Raiders suffering through that.
Noel has to watch you suffer through the Raiders suffering through the grinding of Gruden's grinders.
It's like a Russian doll of suffering, and so instead, I went on a hike instead.
And you suffered in different ways.
Yeah, in the blinding heat of Mount Diablo, but
dude,
it was
Concord
good time.
is hot.
Yeah. It was pretty overcast at the start. It was warm by the end of it, but it was pretty solid. Got a Jamba Juice after to get the refreshment going.
Nice.
No blenders here.
You were supposed to stop by, have a few beers with me, but
you get tired. You got errands to do. It's Sunday.
Been in Concord so long already.
Oh my God, get me out of here.
Yeah, no,
Back to the oasis of Oakland.
I feel you.
But I'm here now, and I see your new place. It looks nice. It's big. It's spacious. Zero furniture. Looking a little bit like a serial killer, ready to move out at any moment.
Yeah.
But that's okay. You got the cat.
You got to keep
part
the
of the furniture.
floorboards accessible. I gotta bring them up every once in a while.
Just to remind everyone what could go down there.
Yeah.
The implication.
What does go down there? So we're going to do a few different things this week. Last week I did power rankings, and I roasted pretty much everyone and then felt really bad about it. And O'Malley, I think I hurt his feelings severely, and I probably will do that again on this episode. So sorry, O'Malley. You just got to be better, dude. Is he a 2-time Sacco?
I think
Is he the
is
only
a two-time. Yeah.
Yeah, he's really paving the way for historical numbers here.
But the Super Sacco is still in play, which is the East Wing. So it's not
the Voltron Sacco.
Yeah. I also am starting to think of it as more of like almost a Captain Sacco, like a Captain Planet, where their rings, their powers combined.
What are their powers? So Colin's heart, right?
For sure heart.
Weaver's fire.
Weaver's fire. Yeah. Bacon's
Earth?
Water. It's very fluid. Oh, Earth. Yeah, he's solid. He's solid.
Down to earth, dude. Salt of the earth.
Yeah.
What does
Immovable.
that mean?
I don't know.
Making it sound like he's from the deep south. That's what they say. He's a salt of the earth. Oh, so he's a southern hick. Is that what he is?
Well, after he won the wall sit at the draft competition,
He won the wall sit?
He won the wall sit. He beat Colin. Yeah, for the tiebreaker. So
no, he didn't.
He's the wall sitting Hall of Fame champion.
No, he's not. No, Colin didn't lose, did he?
Oh yeah, he did.
How was this not widely reported?
It was on one of the podcasts.
I don't believe it. Oh, they must have been the mumbling.
My memory could be a little bit fuzzy.
I feel like Colin's like the all-time Hall of Fame sitting wall champion.
Well, they both went into the low digits of minutes, but still higher than any of us could do.
So what does that mean?
I was going to say the high digits, but it's not.
What are the low digits? I never learned that in math class. Is that a math major thing? the low digits. So, are we talking like 5 minutes?
I think maybe 4. I just lost my tiebreaker myself, so I was pretty upset in general. But
What was your tiebreaker?
Can
Can you actually talk about these draft competitions? Like in that 5-hour-long podcast that Weaver and Mute Bacon and Colin did, I didn't understand anything that happened at the draft competition.
Well, most of it changed a shit ton. But as soon as we got there, but we did the spoon
How pissed
chug.
was Evan though?
Actually, Evan was pretty stoic about it. Yeah, he was frustrated, and he and O'Malley at one point were just one-on-one talking over the kitchen table while everybody else was in the other room waiting for them to stop arguing about it.
What, O'Malley, just don't argue. Just whenever anyone's arguing, study. Just study. See what average draft position is of the players that you want to draft. Every Steeler out there.
He would be an expert he would have known so much if he had done that every time people started arguing.
That was like me and getting hammered at the draft competition instead of like thinking about where I actually want to draft.
My favorite was last year when we were arguing about the rules and everything, and Max yells at you, "Do you even know who you want to draft?" And you just straight look at him, "No."
That's absolutely true. I'm just hoping something's going to fall in my lap here.
But I really care.
I really care about winning the drinking competition, and I don't know why. And I'm a fucking 2-time Hall of Fame, and if anyone tries to take that away...
Debatable.
So we're going to do a couple different things. One was Captain Hindsight. So we're going to talk about what everyone should have done for these matchups that just happened. So do you want to start?
Yeah, sure.
Which one do you want to start on?
I'll start on my my matchup. We can just do it during each matchup. You want to discuss each matchup really quickly?
Yeah. So you want to start with yours?
Yeah. Yes, it's about me. So I got my first win, so I want to talk about my win over Colin. He was 0-2. We were both 0-2, so one of us had to have a better week. And I actually came out on top. I was really, really happy with my team. They showed up. Colin's team did really well. Shout out to Colin.
You guys were insanely close to your original projections.
Yeah.
You were 7 points off, and he was 2 points off.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's super crazy.
I wanted to call out Colin for his entry into the Hindsight Hut, I'm going to call it. So, in his third wide receiver spot, Colin played John Ross. I get it. You know, John Ross scored, 32 points week 1?
Yeah.
That's not that many. 20 points week 2?
Well,
I mean, most of that was on garbage time, am I right?
Yeah, no, a lot of it was. According to Weaver, it was like against the second string DBs on the Niners.
I think we can all say John Ross scoring more than 5 points was dumb. He scored 1.2.
And how many targets did he have? 6?
He had a total of 6 targets, 2 receptions, 22 yards, and he lost a fumble because he's feeble. It's his 3rd year. He can't stay on the field. He's feeble.
Dude, in his little notes, it does the most fucking annoying thing that Yahoo ever does. They're like, John Ross is not looking like a very good, player because AJ Green's coming back. He might be a flash in the pan. Now's a perfect time to sell high.
Oh, yeah.
So sell high on him. And you're like, do you think anyone who I'm trying to trade with isn't going to click on this little blip and read?
Red blurb.
Yeah. Go ahead and screw over the guy you're trying to trade with. Like, they do that in basketball way more. But it's like the lamest shit that Yahoo does. So John Ross is going to be...
John Ross is the worst offender here because his replacement is Colin's guy, Marvin Jones Jr.
Yeah.
Stafford throws. Colin loves Marvin Jones Jr.
He loves him, so irrationally.
It's crazy.
So irrational.
He plays him all the time. So for him to not play him didn't work out in Colin's favor, let's just say. I don't think it wouldn't have swung the matchup, but, it would have made it...
No, he would have...
Would he won with it?
He would have won the matchup.
Wow. Swung the matchup. So
would have heavily swung the matchup.
That one's got to be extra tough to swallow.
Yeah. Dude, Tony Pollard, though, on your team.
But good luck next week, Colin. My team, obviously...
Oh, you benched Lindsey.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a hindsight moment.
So, clearly, Lindsey was going to go off. What in the fuck was I thinking? 8.6 points week 1, 8.6 points week 2. Joe Flacco, a rock of stability under center. Obviously, he's going to blow up against the
gotta call out Weaver.
I know.
He called him elite.
He like questionably elite, I think. He might have been doing homage to the old joke of whether or not Flacco's elite.
So he's playing chess and we're just thinking checkers over here.
Yeah, he's 2 steps ahead.
Dude, Joe Flacco, for sure not elite.
He's
just
terrible.
for the record. He's bad.
I was worried about the Broncos, and they have they suck. How many touchdowns have they scored? Like 3, 4? No, that's not true.
I mean, they lost to the Raiders. So
that was an impressive win on Monday night.
I thought it was impressive. I was actually impressed with that win.
Yeah, I think they played with a lot of passion, and now their passion's gone. So hopefully Gruden can get it back on this 40-day road trip. Something brutal like
we were
that.
trying to look at which games to go to this year, and we're like, not till November, huh?
See you later.
Thanksgiving?
So those are for that matchup. Obviously, I should have played the midget Philip Lindsay against the good Green Bay Packers. And obviously, Colin should have known that John Ross wasn't going to keep scoring 30 points a game, even though he had been.
All right. This next one, let's do Kittle and McShits, which I still don't understand. Do you get that one?
I think it's Kittles and Bits, but it's Kittle because he has tight end.
Yeah.
And McShits because...
He has LaShawn McCoy?
Oh, I guess. I was thinking more
I
of...
just made that up. Does he have LaShawn McCoy?
Actually, yeah, that makes sense. He does not have LaShawn McCoy.
So what is with the McShits?
I was going to say it was Shanahan, but he's not Mick Shanahan, so I don't know what the fuck that even references. But, sorry for my language.
Bacon doesn't have a whole lot of... Actually, I lied. He probably should have started this Robinson character. This Damian Robinson, right?
Denard?
Oh, yeah. DeMarcus Robinson. Damian... Oh, I'm thinking of it. So Damian Williams is a real running back, and then there's another Williams running back.
Darrell, I think.
Oh, whatever.
Darnell.
There's a lot of D's.
D. Williams,
this offense.
the second one.
DeMarcus Robinson. He had that insane touchdown grab.
Oh my
you
God,
see
it was
that?
so
He's
nice.
Like,
just
Spider-Man, yeah.
Toe tap right in the corner, fading away. That was awesome. I think Pebbles called it out that basically, if you have one of those wide receivers, you have to play him. So he played Calvin Ridley and Emmanuel Sanders. Replace any one of those guys with
you played Hardman.
I played Mecole, not don't call me Nicole Hardman. Bacon went with the Calvin Ridley Emmanuel Sanders combo that netted him 3.1 points when a Chiefs receiver would have gotten him much more. So I think it's starting to turn where you kind of have to play your Chiefs receiver. It's like every single time. As much as Philip Lindsay is going to go off on your bench,
well,
you gotta swallow it.
He also did the Peyton Barber thing, and I guess you kind of have to play Peyton Barber in that spot. Le'Veon Bell, Derrick Henry, you got to play them. You got Peyton Barber, but who you really should have played was Will Dissly, tight end, Seahawks. Throw him in the freaking, throw him in that flex spot next time.
Well, do you know what his points were the previous week? 50 receiving yards for 2 touchdowns. He had 19.5 points the previous week.
And he's getting a nice target volume. It's just like that typical wide or tight end 8-yard situation. He has 5 receptions for 50 yards, so 10 yards. 6 receptions for 62 yards, basically 10 yards. 1 reception for 12, basically 10 yards.
He's white Jimmy Graham on the new Seattle
Jimmy Graham's
offense.
pretty white.
Whiter.
Jimmy Graham's like Blake Griffin white.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
Was that mean tweets where it looks like they just fell in a bowl full of Doritos?
I didn't see that.
I'm paraphrasing.
Okay.
For O'Malley's team, who got the W, and you were right. his best score of the year so far. Good job, O'Malley. You're trending upwards. He had a 90. Hold on. This is important. I'll look it up. Week 1, O'Malley scored 90 points to lose to Hawk and Cock and Loaded. Week 2, O'Malley scored 80 points to lose to Locketed, Cocked, and Loaded.
I believe it's Locketed, Cocked, and Loaded.
I was probably close.
But it's still a terrible name, Pebbles.
Pebbles will have to put his own podcast out to give us the proper dictionary pronunciation of it.
25-second podcast. It's like a protein powder read and just his team name pronunciation.
So Kaimi, maybe his bench is pretty brutal. You might think Jamal Williams was the play, but I actually have a different outside the box play. He went and picked up Jimmy Garoppolo. His quarterback went down. He had to go pick somebody up. He picks up Jimmy Garoppolo, whose point totals this year so far were 10 points against the terrible Tampa Bay defense, 22 points against Cincinnati, who we think are in the running for one of the quarterbacks in the draft, right? Like, they have to be.
They're really bad. It's them and Miami. I mean, it's them and Miami, and I was going to say Tampa Bay, but they've kind of looked, they looked decent against the Panthers, and then they looked pretty good until they missed a field goal to win the game last Sunday. So, yeah, Miami and Cincinnati are heavy favorites for the first and second pick, I think.
Anyway, Garoppolo might be winning games, but he is not putting up any numbers. It's kind of weird.
No, he's not. It's a lot of plays that don't really reflect on the fantasy football stat sheet, because I feel like he is making plays. Like, I feel like he's converting third downs and making the play when he needs to generally, but he's also like turning the ball over a lot, which obviously loses you some points. What did he have? 2 interceptions in that game, 277 pass yards. So that's good. Touchdown's good, but I mean, running backs are getting the touchdowns, and then they're just they're putting on the ground a lot. They had 5 turnovers in that game. Still got the W.
Can't believe they won that one too. That's crazy.
I mean, it just goes to show how bad Pittsburgh is.
Well, at least O'Malley got the the consolation prize of his fantasy team winning while his quarterback beat his real team. Yeah. Always a good consolation to have on a Sunday.
Your quarterback that beats your real team puts up 9 points. Yeah.
Was it worth it?
No, and then what's almost sad about this is he doesn't really have anyone that I'm hindsighting right now.
Come in my Hindsight Hut.
All right, Parker on Miami. All right, so he would have done. All right, yeah, he wouldn't have done better. Did he pick his perfect lineup?
I think the only one would have been Jamal Williams over Sonny Michel for another 2 points. But well done, O'Malley.
So with his perfect lineup, he gets 101 points, gets the W over Kittle and the McShits, whatever. And Captain Hindsight, you got to play the tight end in the flex position.
Come on.
You got to play the tight end in the flex position.
Your tight ends are rolling. You play your tight ends.
Yeah. Come on. Give him the ball, man. Give him the damn ball.
Actually, I have another call out to Hindsight. This is tangential to Bacon's team. He doesn't control what the Ravens offensive staff decides, but for them to forego their point after touchdowns, what was it, 3 times to go for 2, just taking points off of Justin Tucker's bottom line.
That's rough.
That's rough.
Dude, I saw them doing that. I'm like, why are they? They were. I think they were down 6. Or no, they just scored a touchdown. Then a field goal would have just made it a normal 7. But they go to get 2 points and to make it 8. And I'm just like, why? What are you guys doing? Why would you rather be down 6 than 7? It doesn't make any sense. It was some weird situation like that. I can't remember exactly, but I remember filing it away and then kind of doing that thing that the FBI does where they black out half the file. That's exactly what I just did in that stat.
That's what happens when you cram 16 games of football in
I was watching Red Zone the whole time.
36 hours.
All right, so I'm going to do Kyler Barely Newer versus Locketed Cocked and Loaded.
All right. Kyler. You came up short this week. How
Definitely
you
sounds like a
feeling?
white cheerleader's name. Oh my God.
Kyler Jenner.
I actually had a pretty good week.
You did.
There's not a whole lot I could have done. I don't think I could have won if I wanted to. Jordan Howard instead of Latavius Murray would have gotten me 9 more points, so I would have been down 10, and then, yeah, I just couldn't have won. So my hindsight is I should not have drafted Jordan Howard or Latavius Murray. I'm not sure why I thought any of those plodding backs would ever make it in the NFL. It's like if you hadn't made it as a plodding NFL back 4 years ago, how are you going to make it as a plodding NFL back when you're like 29, 30 years old and just took like 500 hits over your career?
You know when the Bears, who have like 4 running backs and Cordell Patterson that they want to give the ball to, don't want to give you the ball anymore? You're in a rough spot, Jordan Howard. I don't know why they don't want to just give him the ball a little bit more.
Give him those 2.5 yards per carry. If you really think about it, you go for it on 4th down every time. 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. Do the podcast math, man.
So if you go 4 times, that's
They'll never
10,
stop
yeah.
you. And you run the clock all the way down the entire game.
They'll never stop
So I don't know why they're not doing this.
Sounds like Santi's like
His
genius strategy.
his thug offense.
Thug offense.
Can you explain
Yeah,
Santi's
okay, so-
thug offense for people who might not get it?
Watching football on Santi back in Santa Barbara always meant that halfway through whatever game you were
It
watching,
was usually the Browns game.
usually the Browns game, when he decided that this team couldn't be any worse on offense, he thought, why not just get 53 inmates from the nearest from the nearest
It was slightly
prison.
different. It was spend all of your budget on baller defensive
Yep.
players, and then just have some meatheads from the penitentiary like run the ball down the middle, like over and over again. And he's like, it couldn't be worse than what they're doing.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like, Santi, actually, it could be a lot worse.
It could be way
lot
worse.
They could fumble. You ever think about that, Santi?
I love how he thought that like thugs in a jail were somehow more athletic than like Khalil Mack or fucking Aaron Donald.
Yeah, and like actual NFL players with actual NFL diets and training regimens.
Spending 80 hours a week doing NFL things.
You know, studying the playbook, studying film. But yeah, my hindsight was I should not have drafted Latavius Murray, and I for sure should not have drafted Jordan Howard.
Well, let's jump to the draft. Let's see who you could have had. Let's really
Oh,
rub
do
the
we have
salt in
to?
the wounds. Yeah, well, you know, I just want to think
have to?
about it, you know.
Oh no!
What did you go, 5th round for that?
I think it was as early as the 5th round for Latavius Murray. Could
You
have
know,
been the wraparound 6, but it was bad.
It was the wraparound 6.
All right.
Can you guess who was right after him? Allen Robinson. Probably you're not horribly
I
upset
mean,
with that.
I was already so thick with wide receivers at that time.
You were. You went wide receiver.
Dude, hey, I drafted Sterling Shepard. What round did I draft him in?
Okay, who thought that was going to be good?
Everyone, dude.
No.
He was the
No one
only
thought he was
receiver
gonna
that Eli knew in the fucking locker room. He's like,
Evan
hey, what's up,
Ingram.
Sterling?
Hasn't Evan Ingram averaged like...
He's a tight end.
The dude's an athlete. He's
I
a
already
beast.
had Zach Ertz.
You can always go two
He's
tight
been
ends.
trash. Zach Ertz
You
has
could have
not
had
been good.
Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers, Matt Breida, O.J. Howard.
I'm not liking any of these
You
guys.
could have had Austin Eckler.
That would have been nice, huh?
Yeah. After that, it's a bunch of wide receivers. Darius Geis, Hunter Henry.
Yeah, I don't like any of those names, huh?
No. After that, you took Sterling Shepard, and then you took Jordan Howard, who was followed by Njoku, Westbrook, Austin Hooper,
Austin Hooper went off.
Royce Freeman. You could just trade out plotting running backs.
Dude, I need to make a trade. If anyone wants to trade with me, pretty wide receiver rich right now. I'll consider letting Alshon Jeffrey, Kyler Murray. I'll even throw Jordan Howard in the mix. I'll draft you. I'll draft you 3/4 for $1. How about that?
You're going to trade your namesake, Kyler, barely newer.
I would trade him, yeah. I'm trying to trade him with Bill, actually. It might happen. And then I'll
Nice.
be Lamar, hardly newer. No,
Lamar.
Lamar. No, I wouldn't. I don't know what I would be after that. It would take some thinking, but it's tough to change it. I mean, this is the best start my franchise has ever had.
Yeah. Do you keep riding with it, or do you make the next move that you think you're going to take it to the next level?
There's definitely some moves to be made on the waiver wire this week.
I was thinking about
the Saquon Barkley injury.
Well, doesn't Evan have Gallman?
He might.
I think he has his backup. I think Evan loves.
Think
Wayne
he'd trade
Gallman.
Kyler
for Gallman? No. He has Mahomes.
Whatever.
He needs
Never
a
know
strong
when Mahomes will go down, huh?
Yeah. Trade your backup that was promoted for a backup that maybe might be promoted.
Dude, Kyler Murray looks so funny when he runs.
Does
I
he?
just picture like Kevin Hart out there. You know?
His helmet must be too big, or his like shoulder pads are too narrow. He looks tiny.
Yeah, he's like Maurice Jones-Drew.
He looks like one of those little green alien toys from Toy Story, just waddling.
Dude, just a team of him, Darren Sproles at running back, Steve Smith at wide receiver.
Just all the miniatures.
Oh, man. So where's
All right,
the
who are we
Captain
on?
Hindsight for Pebbles with that monstrous win he had over me? Oh, yeah, the tight ends.
Lockett,
Waller. Waller put up 20 points.
Yeah, Waller the baller. The guy overcame addiction. Drug addiction. Hard drug addiction.
What was he addicted to?
He said all of it. He said, so he's been in the league for
So
like
it's Josh
2.5
Gordon?
years. Yes, only actually Josh Gordon. He said he was like, any excuse, he just, like cocaine, heroin, all of it. I don't know if meth, because, that's crazy. But,
That's
yeah.
crazier than heroin?
Yeah, it was a thing on Hard Knocks. He would go to Addicts Anonymous in Napa during
During the season.
yeah. Or I'm sure he's going now.
I'm shocked that didn't get out before he let it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, same here. Well, no one really knew about him. Apparently, according to Al Michaels, Gruden saw him practicing in warm-ups for some team, I think the Ravens, and was like, we need to go sign this guy. According to probably Gruden.
So you're telling me he's Gruden's weed grinder?
Or pill
That was a
grinder. I don't know.
Horrible. We got to get these.
But let's bring it back to my point, which is he beat drug addiction. Put him in your lineup. He's going to be getting so many targets in this offense. And he's on the Raiders, so.
Yeah, I mean, he killed it. 134 receiving yards, 13 receptions. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
Other than that, I
Andrews
guess.
did kill it last week, though.
Yeah.
And the
The
other
other
thing
might have
that
to go two tight end.
the only other hindsight I had for my team, real quick, I forgot about it, but I just remembered, was not drafting Mark Ingram, because he just got 3 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson, he saved my fantasy day, even though I still lost. I still got a good point total from him because he had a rushing touchdown in the end. But he had 0 touchdowns because every single time they just handed it off to Mark Ingram.
Yeah.
Just ran it up the middle 2 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards.
I'm kind of surprised he's being used this much in that the last, 2-3 years, the Ravens running backs have been so impossible to guess who's going to get it. They would go in these short spurts of Buck Allen.
Oh, yeah, I was a
them.
Buck Allen.
I think
dated
everyone
him for a while.
Javorius Allen is Buck Allen, but everyone had Buck Allen or I can't even remember their names.
Buck Allen more.
Buck Allen.
Everyone had a Buck Allen on their team.
I think we all passed Buck Allen around.
I definitely went on a few dates with him. So could have had a better tight end. Could have had a better flex. Austin Eckler. Trade him for Scantling.
So is Chris Carson concerning you at all? I have him in another league, and he's lost 3 fumbles, I think, in the last 2 weeks.
Oh, he's absolutely concerning. I have him
That's so
in my other
terrifying.
league as well, and I thought I did the Peebly playbook. That's what we're going to call it from now. I took one from the old Peebly playbook.
Mm-hmm.
Got him the 4th round. I thought I was a stud. And I drafted Melvin Gordon in the 5th. I'm like, dude, I'm going to fucking murder these clowns. Now I'm 0-3. And my brother-in-law is trying to trade me fucking Josh Gordon for Melvin Gordon. I just... I would have a drink with Josh Gordon for sure, but I'm not going to put him on my fantasy football squad. By the way, another call out on Weaver's podcast. He had the surprising player segment. How are you going to put Justin Tucker as a surprising player? He's literally top 2 kickers in the league for the last like 18 years. And he's like, I'm totally surprised that he's doing well. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. No, actually, wait, what? I missed that part of the podcast.
Tom Brady was also on there.
Oh, yeah. Well, Tom Brady was supposed to get like no points. Everyone thought they were just going to control, dish it.
I heard on the Bill Simmons podcast, our favorite podcast, that they were going to be a much more running-based team this year.
Exactly, yeah. Well, they say that every year, but early on, the Patriots always throw, and then later in the year, when they have everything locked up, they just grind it. They've been doing it with Sony Michel last year, LeGarrette Blount before that. When they got him from the Steelers, they just ran him into the ground for the last half of the year. They're just going to get their division wrapped up once they beat the Bills. Corey Dillon.
Lawrence Maroney. Are we just going to name all the running backs?
I can't think back that far back. But that's what they do. They go crazy early on, secure the division, get the bag, as the young kids say.
That is what the young kids say.
And then they just cram it down everybody's throats when it's snowing outside in Foxborough.
I actually had a really high moment of clarity on Sunday. I was hitting Amber's vape pen, and I was watching the Patriots run Burkhead over and over and over again. And I'm like, can they not see how fucking terrible this player is? Like, they've got so many better players. White was out giving birth to his daughter or whatever, but other than him, it's like you still got Sony Michel. What's the other dude? I guess it is James White. That's it. James White, Sony Michel, and Burkhead.
I think so. I think there's a fourth, but he's injured too or something.
So, and I was like, maybe they're just running Burkhead over and over again to absorb some early season damage, and then when it actually matters, they can throw him back on the bench because they know they're going to win anyway.
Well, he gets hurt like every week 11, so they just know Burkhead's going to tear something week 11, and they'll turn Michel on. Yeah. They're just using these running backs like
So you're saying Michel's a trade, what's it called? Sell low or buy low.
Yeah, I wouldn't sell them low. But yes, if I was a Yahoo writer, in bold capital letters, I would put target to buy low.
Yeah, they do that, dude. So triggering, especially when you really literally want to sell them low, but you thought of it on your own. Mm-hmm. And then
you click on their red blurb and it's like, well, I'll wait a couple weeks now.
Yeah. So, yeah, get better, Pebbles. Put Eckler into the Chris Carson spot. Put Scandling into the flex spot. And put Waller into your tight end spot. And you would have scored 200 points. That would have been incredible.
Go for that money even more.
Yeah. Did he get the money this week?
No. Actually, that was Jameis on the rocks. Nope, sorry. It's Jameson on the rocks. My bad. Read that way too fast. Bill with a scorching 154.9.
Yeah.
Overcoming Hockencock with a strong 124.84.
Damn, I would have beaten Hockencock this week too.
Do you want to play that game of who would you
I would have beaten almost anyone. I would have beaten everyone but Jameson on the rocks and Peebly and you. And True Comebacks. All right, so I didn't do that great. So
you were top five. You were top five.
Top five.
That gets playoffs. That gets wild card weekend.
I think I'm going to move up into the third, or I'm moving down into the third spot.
Nice.
But that's because Jameson just moved up. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's a tough life out here.
It was a strong win by Bill. A strong showing.
I'm actually in trouble. I got Alshon Jeffrey out. I've basically got 2 running backs that are complete pure shit. And
well, everyone knew. Well, we thought you had 3 running backs that were complete pure shit.
No, Marlon Mack's legit, dude. He had a nice garbage time touchdown. By the way, can we talk about Russell Wilson's all-time garbage time status? I was bitching about this last year because I always find a way to lose to him. Like when I'm playing him, I'm up like 10 points with 2 minutes left. They're down 2 touchdowns. And he's driving the fucking ball down the field like it's a Super Bowl and they're down like 3 points.
There's a light music playing in the background, like some type of montage is going on.
But I'm like, don't you think you might get hurt? Like, aren't you worried you might get sacked by some overzealous, like, third stringer? But of course he's playing the third stringer. No one gives a fuck if he scores when he's down like 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter with 3 minutes left. But he's zipping the ball around, like running in the ball for like a 30-yard score, spiking it.
The
Go
defense,
Hawks pointing to the sky.
the defense is just in dime formation, letting him just run
just
all
don't
over
care.
the place. Yeah.
So this game, he scored 2 touchdowns in the final 3 minutes. I think 3 or 4 minutes. He had a rushing touchdown, and then they got the ball back. Surprise, surprise. Down, I think it might have been, how much were they down by? Where's this shit? Where's Lockett? So they lost 33-27. So they were down 20-33 with time expiring. He throws an incomplete pass, but there's a penalty on the play, so they get one
They get a
more
free
play.
down.
And he throws this bullshit zipper into the end zone and gets it to the guy that,
Whistly.
yeah, that should have been started by Bacon.
Yeah.
And gets another passing touchdown. And how much did Wilson go for? Because it's fucking absurd. Here, let me look him up. He's so annoying. The king of garbage time. Is it 1S in Russell? What? I guess this is just available players here, one sec. Maxwell has him, right? So Maxwell, if he does have him, he benched him.
41 points.
Oh my god. He had 41 points.
Wow.
51 rushing yards with 2 touchdowns. So about 10 of that was from rushing touchdowns when they were already down 3 scores.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so he should have only had like 20, what? This is me doing
24.
podcast math again. Yeah,
I'd
like
say
24.
Mid 20s.
And then he went up for 41. That's the kind of shit that'll just end your life in the playoffs. Just watch. The playoffs will come around. Hawks are like 5-9, down 4 touchdowns. And Russell Wilson's
Just tanking fantasy seasons.
fucking you. Yeah.
Just singling you out on your couch.
But I think this, so let's just move on to the Maxwell-Scott hindsight matchup.
All right. What an
Well-
epic Monday night matchup.
Yeah,
It
I
came
didn't get
down
to
to the
watch any of it.
wire.
I was teaching kids how to do the Willy Wonka Candyman song.
The Candyman can.
Mix it up with sun and
Yeah, let's have kids sing that song. That's not
dude.
creepy at all.
he said he wanted to sing it like a 1920s personality. I was like, what does that mean? He's like, the Candyman. And I'm like, that is a 1920s
It's like a
personality.
Batman penguin villain.
Yeah, essentially.
Oh my god. So for this matchup, it was 110 Maxwell to 108 Scott. So Scott was super close. He could use some hindsight. He could definitely use some hindsight. And I'm staring at his flex spot where Stephon Diggs came up with a whopping 3 points. And his bench, wow. His bench did not really leave a lot to be desired.
Well, he could have also ended this Tariq Cohen experience that we all knew was trash. Look at what Tariq Cohen's put up. 8 points, 3 points, and 3 points.
Those are the points he was putting up when I picked him up as my David Johnson replacement like 2 years ago. Oh
Did you
my
draft
gosh.
David Johnson 2 years in a row?
I did, yeah. I
And you
almost
sucked
went.
2 years in a row, right?
Yeah, I
Have
almost
you
went.
have you made the playoffs in the last 2 years?
No, I made it last year.
Did you really?
Yeah, I swipered James Conner away from Weaver in the last round, or the third to last round. So I had James Conner as my running back 1.
So there's Weaver's captain hindsight.
There's Weaver's
Get
biggest
the
captain
handcuff
hindsight.
sooner.
You'll
He would have won
notice-
the league.
He would have. Potentially. James Conner sucked a lot at the. He was like concussed during the playoffs or fantasy playoffs. So I don't know if Weaver # did the math, but he has said he would have won the league. I'd like to see the receipts on that.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, he could have played. He could have played Carlos Hyde at that running back spot, and he would have won. And he could have also played Kenyon Drake and would have won. And he could have played Kenyon Drake or not Thompson, Hyde in that flex spot and would have won.
Can you believe? Is Carlos Hyde good? Is he better than?
No.
Is he better than Duke Johnson?
I don't think anyone's good. I don't think any running back is good on that team.
That
So
was
Carlos Hyde got a rushing touchdown, but other than that, he just got 19 yards.
Duke Johnson has 3 points the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, and Carlos Hyde sucks dick too. He
Why
has
can't-
9, and 7. And it's like 10 attempts, 20 attempts, 10 attempts. So it's like impossible to decipher when he's going to actually get volume and when he's not.
I mean, I guess I get it. Like, you have Deshaun Watson on your team. You have DeAndre Hopkins, Will Fuller, and Kenny Stills. Why would you ever give it to a running back? But I don't know. I feel like they could do something.
And, yeah. So, hindsight for him, just, I guess, be better in general. Be better in general at being a league member. Sorry, that was rude. But we just miss you, Scott. We just want to hear your voice every once in a while.
We hope you're listening, Scott. Better luck next week.
Yeah.
Maxwell got the W, pulled it off, riding the Chicago defense, which one of the best picks in the draft. They are so fucking good. Actually, what? So they only have 9 points, 5 points the last 2 weeks. However,
they've been a little bit better, like real life relevant than like fantasy relevant, but this last one was pretty damn dominant.
I would have bet a lot of money that they had more than 14 points between 2 weeks heading in this week.
Well, they had that really tough week against who was it?
The Broncos or the Bears or the Packers week 1.
Yeah, they didn't really do anything against the Broncos and legendary Hall of Fame elite Joe Flacco.
Well, I still believe in Khalil Mack. But obviously, if Max wanted the money, he should have. Actually, he probably wouldn't have won the money. But Russell Wilson,
yeah,
garbage time Russell was in
all
full
time
effect.
garbage. First team all garbage.
First team all garbage time, as Stewart has beautifully laid out, over Baker Mayfield, who.
That experiment's done. I have him in my other league
Oh
as
my
well,
God.
and it's just like, dude,
Did you see
can't do it anymore.
Did you see the post-game interview with Freddie Kitchens, where he's just like, they're like asking him about play calls, and he's just like, "Yep, bad play call. Yep, that one's a bad play call." And they're just like,
oh, they were talking about how he like ran on the 5 yard line. Or no, he passed.
And on the 4th and 9, they ran a draw, a running back draw, which I think according to like some
was probably clearly stuffed within like 4 yards, right?
Yes,
Because
it was like after a 2-yard gain, it was tackled. There was some person on Twitter said that no one had run a draw on 4th and 9 in the past 20 years since they've been like monitoring
it had to have
this.
been like within that part of the field, though, right? Like I feel like I've seen people do 4th and 9, or at least 3rd and 9 draws. Really, it was 4th and 9?
4th and 9, and they ran a draw to Chubb. Yeah.
And Chubb did not do
He
well.
got like 3 or 4 yards. But yeah, it was brutal. And so, yeah, Kitchens is up there just no, bad call.
He's clearly thinking outside the box, man. He's a trendsetter. No one's done it before.
Dude, they're like, I don't know how they can't get the ball to their receivers faster.
Dude, I was like, all I need are 35 points from Odell Beckham Jr. and I can get this W and go home.
Dude, how are you feeling about Odell Beckham Jr.? What are his stats so far?
They weren't great last week. They were really great the week before that and like mediocre the week. So he is basically 1 out of 3 for really good and 2 out of 3 mediocre.
You nervous?
No, I actually think he's going to be fine. I think they're going to get it together. My 2 wide receivers have been carrying me.
I'd be a little
Julio?
worried if I were you. I would, if I were the Yahoo writer, I would
sell
say
high?
to sell high. Yeah,
Yeah, on OBJ.
in bold letters on OBJ.
Wow.
But that's me.
Anyone want OBJ? I need to sell high.
According to Roto
Former
World.
first-round pick, Odell Beckham Jr. Man. And so, yeah, is there any other hindsight? I think Frank Gore, the ageless wonder.
Todd Gurley is a scary 4.3 points, but maybe they're just saving him for the
He
late
had
push.
14 carries.
They're not saving him.
That's good volume.
That's good volume.
It just seems like he doesn't have the...
Frank Gore will not stop. I saw like a video of him going to hug his kid after the game, and he was like
30?
severely limping. It was
his kid was 30 years old.
His kid handed down his grandchild to Frank Gore to be
Frank Gore
kissed.
kissed his
Great-grandchild.
his great niece.
But yeah, he was like hobbling over. He looked like he needed to be in the boot that Saquon had at the end of the game.
Ooh, bad luck. So, yeah, Scott, you would have won, but not if Max also participated
In the Hindsight Hut.
in this hindsight challenge. All right, so who do we have left? We have Weaver and Evan.
Weaver and Evan. We have Bill and Brad. Yeah.
Dude, we did Collins. We did your hindsight.
We started
Collins.
with mine and Colin. Yeah, Colin's hindsight was obviously don't trust John Ross.
Oh yeah, and Marvin Harrison, his
fucking
heterosexual
boy.
life mate.
Yes.
Yeah. So could Colin have won this game? Let's take a look.
Okay.
You got Deontay Johnson, and you got Philip Dorsett. 2.
Wait, who are we on? You said Colin.
Yeah, no, this is Humphrey Sextor. We got Weaver.
Weaver.
So Josh Jacobs with a paltry 4.4. You could have put Madison on Minnesota in for 11.8. So that would have bumped you up another 8 points or so, 7 points. Gets you to 129. And then you throw in, nah, dude, I don't think you could have won. Hindsight, no, I don't know if you could have won.
Get out of our hindsight hut.
Philip Dorsett, he would have got close. It would have been a heartbreaker.
Nice pickup with the Deontay Johnson, though.
Yeah.
It was a nice... Oh, only 6 targets? Oh.
So, Evan basically, he played pretty damn close to a perfect lineup. He's still rocking with Robbie Anderson. I'm not 100% sure why he's doing that, because Robbie Anderson hasn't had a good week.
Ever?
In 10 years.
But his options to replace him are Dante Pettis and Antonio Brown, who for this foreseeable future will continue to get 0 targets.
Yeah, Dante Pettis was tragedy. So, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Maybe I could trade him Gallman. What do you think? Gallman for Alshon Jeffrey?
Or you want to give him Alshon and you take Gallman off his hands?
I'll take Gallman off your hands.
It could work. Let's see what Gallman's stats were.
His Los Angeles Rams hindsight, that could have been great. Get another 2 points there.
Yeah, spread the lead. Make it a nice 24 points instead of 22 points. There's my podcast, math major.
Dude, it's tough doing podcast math. I think I'm actually kind of Rain Man at it, to be honest.
Well, you're the seasoned vet. I'm the noob. I noticed is crazy is the starting running back for the Raiders had less than half of the points of the backup running back for the Vikings that they were playing against. So Dalvin Cook got his, the backup to Dalvin Cook got his, and Josh Jacobs had, what did he end up with? 44 yards on 10 carries and 2 targets for no catches. So I'm guessing they're behind the whole game. I didn't watch, but
how much slack does Derek Carr have?
Oh my God.
He ties himself with it, hangs himself with it.
He was looking amazing through 5 quarters, and then the second quarter, I think the Chiefs.
The Chiefs game.
That Chiefs game where they scored 4 touchdowns in the quarter.
Yeah.
I think deflated the entire team for potentially the rest of the season. It's not. I'm not going to say they're done, but I'm still feeling okay about our bet for the over/under of 6 games. I'm feeling okay. I think they'll surge on late and get a couple nice.
Wait, you bet?
I bet you and I have a bet.
We have a bet?
Oh my God.
Wait, so what's the total?
The over/under is 6.
We didn't give it a 0.5?
No. You agreed to this.
Oh my God.
You thought 6 was crazy.
Was I drunk?
Yeah, well, it was the A's game.
Oh yeah, that first one.
Yeah.
That first one, yeah, I was pretty drunk.
Yeah, it was
we
a
were
few
both pretty
IPAs.
drunk. We took those scooters.
We limed to had a good date.
No, we had a great date.
With our fanny packs, we limed over to Star Pizza.
Yeah, I remember thinking how dangerous those scooters are.
Oh my God.
I'm hammered.
I think I was swerving on purpose. It was a terrible idea. Yeah.
So do we
I
have
don't
one
a
more?
lot of confidence in Derek Carr.
Oh.
I think.
Dude, you're spilling all the beer today. That's all right. It's just my grandmother's couch from the 1950s. I'll just get another one, dude. No big deal.
Wow, that was horrible. I think I spilled half of this whole thing on this.
Dude, go ahead and pull that mic up a little closer. You probably sound like you're baking.
My bad.
Dude, catch an alley, you'll bounce right back. Do you need to take a little break? Here.
You want me to?
Nah, it's all good. That couch will just soak it up. It's all good. That couch is basically a big dish towel.
Sorry, Stu's grandma.
She's
I
been
didn't
dead for
mean it.
years. Yeah, throw up a Hail Mary.
Yeah. Well, that beer's gone.
Do you want another one?
No, it's okay. I have it all over me.
Just suck it out of your shirt.
Yeah, I'll just wring it into my mouth. No,
Oh my god.
I think Derek Carr just makes me so frustrated. He shows signs of being like a good leader.
He looked really good in the first game.
He looked amazing. He looked
Yeah.
fantastic in the first quarter of that Chiefs game. Like I said, 5 quarters, he just looked in control.
He was damn near MVP before he broke his leg that one year.
I know.
Damn near.
It's crazy because looking back, his numbers weren't even that good. It was just that was kind of the league at the point.
Yeah.
Mahomes comes in 2 years later and throws 50 touchdowns, and it's different. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably time. The problem is I don't know if they have like any capital to like get anybody in the draft. I don't know what they're going to do. They kind of they like went all in on him clearly because they gave away Mack and like gave up on Cooper and all those other guys that they had.
Now they're
before.
both balling.
Yeah, it's
Cooper and Mac are
frustrating.
both balling, yeah.
Yeah, Amari Cooper, good at fantasy football again when he's not on the Oakland Raiders, apparently.
Well, it's also that Des Bryant is killing it, too. Des Bryant's on another level all of a sudden.
Des Bryant?
Sorry, not Des Bryant. Fucking Dak Prescott. Sorry, it was a 3-letter D name.
One of those.
Yeah, one of those. So now that I've thrown all my fantasy credibility out of the window,
Yeah.
Des Bryant, pick him up. Hot waiver wire this week.
He's still got it? Come on back.
So we even do the hindsights for this shit. So Weaver, you couldn't have won. You could have started Dorsett and Madison and Johnson and still would have lost. And Evan, you did a good job. 142 is not bad at all.
I anticipate him dropping Antonio Brown.
Oof.
As
I
fast
forgot
as
he
the
has
Patriots.
Antonio Brown. He's apparently not available. So are you buying the whole Antonio Brown accuser story, or are you skeptical?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I have no idea what actually happened.
Yeah.
I kind of am just sour on Antonio Brown, like after what
As a
like,
Raider
as a
fan.
Raider fan.
You're
So
like, he
I think-
definitely did it.
I think that like colors my opinions of his just responses in general. I mean, like I didn't read the text messages where he's like threatening people, but like that's what ended up getting
Yeah.
him released. So I think that's
I
kind of
didn't
like,
see the threatening. I saw him kind of degrading, being degrading, like talking about how like poor her children looked and shit like that. Maybe I
Jesus.
totally missed something, but
that doesn't sound nice at all.
yeah, no, it seems pretty fucked up. But it's still not a crime to say someone's kids look poor.
That's fair. What's your take on the whole situation?
I think there's very shaky evidence for sure, but he doesn't seem like a good dude, and I don't know. He just seems even more unlikable after this story. Basically, like he is unlikable, like very unlikable for the whole Raider situation. Very unlikable for the way he's separated with the Steelers.
Yeah, I was kind of annoyed that the popular opinion of him was that it was all like good and gravy when he left the Steelers and then left when he moved on from the Steelers and then moved on from the Raiders, and then everyone's like, oh, it's so funny, he's on the Patriots now, that's crazy, haha, and then like he's still just like a jerk. He's just a fucking asshole.
Yeah, I think again there's either two things here. Either one, he definitely did something and the Patriots caught wind of it. They can say it's because of those text messages. I looked at the text messages. I didn't think they were. I mean, maybe like I said, maybe I missed one or something. But the ones didn't look that bad. They kind of look douchey, but beyond douchey, I didn't see them as like incriminating. And then, according to like, what's it called? Her testimony or whatever, her sworn statement. There's like a bunch of like allegations that seem really hard to substantiate. And we'll see. Apparently, he texted her, like, bragging about something that he did, like, talking shit about it and bragging about it. So if that comes out, they should have some kind of evidence for that if that's the case.
Well, it's also like a civil thing too. Like, I don't know if that makes any difference from the like an NFL perspective as far as like criminal versus like civil courts, what they're actually gonna like. Would they ever like the Patriots signed him? I think knowing about the first the civil lawsuit. So I don't know. I don't know what the NFL like cares about and punishes anymore. It's very opaque to me. It's not clear.
I mean, the whole Tyreek Hill thing.
Yeah,
that seemed pretty damn clear.
Yeah,
like
they drafted
it was beyond a text message. It was a recording of him threatening his baby mama.
They drafted a guy in Mecole Hardman in the second round to replace Tyreek Hill, thinking he was going to get suspended. Or I'm assuming that's like everyone says that's why they did it. I don't know for sure.
But so with Antonio Brown, I think the skeptics would say that she's looking for money and thinks this is a good time to strike when his public persona has never been worse. So we'll see. Anyway,
do you think people want to hear us talk more about our opinions on Antonio Brown's legal status?
I don't know, man. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think we'll move on.
We got one more game matchup.
One more matchup. All right, what do we got?
We've got Sir Billiam, where in the world, against Brad's Hockencock.
The Hockencocks.
Holy God. Did you see Mike Evans put up 41
I did. I was
points?
watching it like live, too. I was watching on Red Zone. I think Weaver and I were the only ones drinking beer during that whole situation. And he just went off from the very beginning. And Keenan Allen also went off. And he has Tyrell Williams, which was a really solid pickup. I wonder when he drafted him. That must have been...
He took him right before I was going to... I think he took him in the 7th maybe, right when I wanted to take...
That's a great pick. Yeah, is there nothing that Bill could have done to be better? He could have played Deebo Samuel instead of Godwin.
Jesus.
And that's it. That's the only way.
Well done. Well, it helps when your whole bench scores 0. I guess that's, silver lining.
Yeah,
but,
a lot of injuries.
Yeah, well done, Bill.
James White was having his child.
He left his fantasy defense home, but brought his Keenan Allen. And Jameis Winston, by the way, I'm shocked that he stuck with him because his first game was 7 points, second game was 13 points, and then he scores 25. So that was brave of Bill, and it worked 100%.
Dude, this is the perfect captain hindsight for our boy, Brad here. I talked shit about it on the podcast last week. He put how much money? Like $14 on McLaurin?
I'll look it up.
For 2 weeks of benching. He's like, let me pay a 6, podcast math, of my budget for the entire year on a guy that's going to sit on my bench for forever.
2 weeks.
Are you going to start McLaurin next week or nah?
Obviously, Galladay was only going to get 2 receptions. 8 targets, only 2 receptions. Stafford couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. It was Marvin Jones's week. We had already discussed this previously with Collins, hindsight. Maybe play McLaurin.
For sure play McLaurin. And on top of that, like the Jacksonville thing, it's become a meme with Brad at this point where he's like a Jacksonville fan. Still not starting that defense there. It would be nice to see him in the game.
Well, they have a better stretch coming up. I mean, they had to play Kansas City, Houston, first 2 weeks. Now they get to go to Denver. They play at Carolina. I mean, Carolina's green, so that means they're giving up points to the defenses fast.
Yeah, it's not good.
By the way, how do you feel about your new glimmer of hope at the quarterback position?
He surprisingly looked really dialed in. I don't know if it was just the team he was playing or what, but he looked really... There were a few times where, like, the play would kind of break down and he'd scramble, like, to his right or something, and there'd be a defender, like, right in his blind side, like, coming up behind him. Like, he's for sure going to get strip sacked, And then he'd deliver just this dart to the back corner of the end zone. And that was that Curtis Samuel touchdown. And it was just like, dude, he's really accurate.
Not like 5 yards over their head like Cam Newton when he rolls out.
Yeah, no, it would be beyond 5 yards. He wouldn't, dude, he'd throw it into the stands. He'd throw it into the dirt in front of him, kick a field goal. Like, there's so many things that can't, I mean, I have this conspiracy theory tinfoil hat on right now that Cam is not injured and they're just benching him.
Wow.
That's my conspiracy theory.
They already ruled him out for next week.
I mean, he looked fine when he played against Tampa Bay. He wasn't, like, limping. Did you see him limp one time against Tampa Bay?
No, I just heard them put him back in a walking boot or something.
Maybe. I mean,
Sell it.
Convenient. He was horrible. He's lost his last, like, 9 games in a row. He hadn't thrown a touchdown pass, I think, in, like, 4 games.
Jeez.
Like, it's really bad.
And he's not running anymore, so, like, from a
yeah.
fantasy-wise, like, you just
from
can't use him at all.
person-wise, from real-life-wise, he's horrible. But, yeah, come on, Brad. McLaurin, you paid a lot of money for the guy.
What more?
Yeah, what more did... He scored a touchdown every week. He's gotten 7 or more targets every week.
His lowest was 14.7 points over 3 weeks. That's pretty nice.
Another great hindsight for Brad. Hindsight probably should have added a tight end to your roster.
Ooh. He's a one tight end type of guy.
This is my tight end. I'm sticking with him. That's my tight end.
That's my tight end. I don't think he's ready to change his team name yet, so he's going to ride. He's a ride or die with this Hawk and Cock.
Ride or die be. All right, so I guess the last thing we're going to do is just talk about our real football teams and do power rankings real quick. So the best team that is surprising everyone is the 49ers.
You think they're the best team of
our group?
You think they're better than the Chargers?
We have some really pathetic teams.
Oh, I was thinking that too. So all of our teams are pretty bad.
The Chargers are bad. They're 1-2.
Yeah.
And they lost at home.
Wait, they lost last week?
Didn't they lose? Yeah, they lost to Houston.
Oh, that makes sense.
And when I say at home, that's huge air quotes. But they lost at home.
They lost in L.A.?
Yeah, they lost in L.A. Houston Junior, some might call it. And then, so we had the Niners. The thing is the I'm pretty sure the Niners, and Niners fans, I'm not trying to talk shit here. I know I'm a Niner fan now, remember? I said it in the very beginning of the year. But the Niners, I'm trying to figure out how to get this damn fucking... I just want to see the Niners. They played the Bengals, 0-3.
We played the Buccaneers.
1-2.
Mm-hmm.
And they played the Steelers, 0-3.
Mm-hmm.
So
Steelers without Ben.
Yeah, without Ben. So their combined record that they've played against is 1-8. It's pretty bad. They did 2 on the road, but again, you can only play your schedule, that whole cliche.
Yeah.
And they've pretty much whooped, other than fumbling it and throwing a million interceptions in the last game, they dominated that game statistically. And they dominated all their other games statistically. Yeah. It was crazy. I saw a stat during... it was like the third quarter of the Niner game. It was like their first punt of their first 3 and out of the season.
What?
Like in the third quarter.
That's crazy. They just turn it over or score.
Yeah, they just turn it over or score. So somehow, supremely mediocre Jimmy Garoppolo is getting it done. So, good job, Niner fans. We got a lot in the league. We got 4 in the league.
Yeah, we got Weaver,
Evan.
Bacon, Pebbles, and Evan.
Yeah.
They're really surprising me. I did not think they'd be getting the results that they are. I guess they're playing as well as I thought they'd play. I don't know. I just guess I'm surprised it's translating to exactly wins, especially when you look at like the Chargers. When you think about them, as much as I dislike them, their rosters are pretty good, constantly hurt all the time, and they just keep finding ways to like not win. So I guess I can see why you went there, but I still think the Chargers are more talented than the Niners in general. And they should be winning games. Yeah, they lost to the Detroit Lions, who tied the fucking Cardinals.
So you talk about the Chargers.
Yeah.
They've lost to Detroit.
Yeah, it was bad.
They scored 10 points against Detroit.
They should have lost to the Colts, basically. They almost lost to the Colts.
They should have lost to the Colts. Yeah, didn't they go into overtime?
No, but it was like the Colts were driving. It was one of those situations where... No, they did lose to the Colts.
No, they beat the Colts. They won. I'm looking at their record now. But Houston, they lost to, and they were down, I'm pretty sure, like 2 scores late. Like, it wasn't that close.
Houston actually reminds me of the Chargers, where they're super talented, but I feel like Bill O'Brien's just going to find a way to lose these games.
Maybe you can call me a homer, but who else do we have in our... we have the Raiders with Jaguars,
Panthers, Redskins. Yeah.
I actually think the Panthers are the second best team. And that's not saying much because all our teams suck after that.
Yeah. I think it's tightly grouped because everyone's pretty bad.
I'll give you my case for the Panthers, and you can tell me why I'm a complete homer. So, you got the Carolina Panthers. They lost 27-30 against Los Angeles. They probably would have been closer, would have been in the lead. There were a couple of really horrible calls that fucked them over out of possessions down the stretch, like in the late third and fourth quarter. They had a fumble that was clearly a fumble that they recovered and returned to like the 30 of the Rams or something like that. But then they said, we determined that it was a fumble, but we couldn't see if his knee was down, so it wasn't a fumble. And so then the Rams kept it, and then they ended up scoring and taking like 8 minutes off the clock. So there was like a really shitty situation there. And then they were 4th and 1 on the 1 yard line away from beating Tampa Bay, and Cam didn't even touch the ball that play, and they didn't make it. And then they torched Arizona 38-20. So I think they could very easily be 3-0 with a few flips of the coin in either direction.
Yeah, I kind of view the Chargers, Niners, and Panthers all pretty close together, but I just have the Chargers ahead. I have the Chargers, and then I have the Panthers, and then I have the Niners. The Niners fans are going to hate that.
Yeah. No, I would hate it if I were a Niner fan, too.
I just think those three... Well, I think those three teams are all like kind of
close together. Are we talking about the
together.
Kyle Allen Panthers?
Yeah.
Is that who we're talking about? The Kyle Allen Panthers or the Cam Newton Panthers?
The combination. I think Kyle Allen will... They'll figure him out.
Yeah, for sure.
It's gonna be rough going forward. I'm surprised. Like, I think the Chargers are off to just a slow start, and I think the Niners are on their favorable part of their schedule, and they're gonna have to play
who do the
the
Niners
Rams
have
at some
next?
point. They're gonna have to play the Seahawks, in Seattle. Those are tough games, and
Real tough.
from how they've looked, I think those three teams all make sense to be at the top. Who do you have as your fourth team?
So it's between the Redskins, the Raiders, and the Jaguars?
Yeah.
I have the Jaguars.
I have the Jaguars.
Yeah, I have the Jaguars, the Minshew Jaguars.
I like them with Foles, and I like them almost as much with Minshew.
I like them more with Minshew.
He's just so awesome. He's like, obviously he looks super cool, and he's the style that we all want. But he's like super accurate. He just seems. He came into that game against the Chiefs, and they were down, and he like, you're just gonna get destroyed and have to put up points, and all he did was just like complete passes and move the ball. Like, obviously they lost because it's the fucking
Chiefs. And he
Chiefs.
was also, they went for a 2-point conversion the week before to win the game, and they didn't win it, but they were that close to winning 2 in a row with Minshew.
Yeah, against the Texans, like what some people consider like one of the best teams in the AFC.
Super Bowl favorite, or not favorite, contender until the Patriots determined, like...
Yeah.
I think the Patriots have scored, like, over 100 points and have only given up, like, 16 or something.
It's
insane
crazy.
Like that. The first touchdown they gave up was a muffed punt.
That's insane. They're... oh, my God. And, yeah. Well, that Dolphins team is hot garbage. Yeah. I'm excited to see the Patriots-Bills game. It's in Buffalo. Buffalo is 3-0, so like the crowd's just going to be like crazy.
Well, when they go down
insane.
21-0 in the first quarter, it's not going to be that crazy.
Their
anymore.
defense is good. I think they're they were the third best defense last year or something by points.
Buffalo,
they're good.
They have Sean McDermott, the old Panthers defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
When the Panthers had one of the best defenses in the league, like over and over.
Yeah,
and that was his McDermott's defense. So he's definitely a stud defensive mind.
I'd be surprised if it was like more than a touchdown game.
I'll bet you right now it's way more than a touchdown game.
What do you want to bet?
I bet you a 6-pack.
Okay, on what? What's the over/under?
Well, you said it was a touchdown, so that'd be 7.5, 8.5 if you want to say.
Okay.
So what do you want to do? 7.5 or 8.5?
8.5.
8.5. All right.
If the Patriots are so fucking good.
I bet you the Patriots win by
over 8.5.
Over 8.5.
All right, deal. It's podcast.
All right, podcast bet. Podcast math bet. So
they're gonna get blown out.
So the worst team is the Raiders or the Skins?
I'm I'm going to go with the Redskins. I think the Raiders are pretty bad. I think they're okay. That like injury to their like ridiculously aggressive safety Abram in the first week was kind of brutal. Other than them losing horribly to Minnesota Vikings and the Chiefs, and they have more of a really tough schedule going forward, I think they're still better than the Redskins. And I think like Jay Gruden has the highest like. Oh wow, it's the Gruden brothers for the
Gruden Bowl.
Oh my god!
But Gruden Bowl.
Jay Gruden has the highest odds or the best odds to be fired. Like I'm kind of surprised he hasn't been yet.
At this point in the season, like what good would it do?
Yeah, I mean they're kind of doing the whole thing where you wonder when they're bringing Haskins in. Like they're at that point. Like when you start worrying about Derek Carr, then yeah, they might be as bad. But I don't know.
I mean, they've fully hit the reset button on every other part of their team. They hit the reset button on the coaching staff. They hit the reset button on the defense with Khalil Mack.
On the Raiders.
Yeah, Amari Cooper hit the reset button on the receiving core. Might as well hit the reset button on the quarterback. Like, it's not like...
I know. Well, they just freed up a bunch of money by getting to release Antonio Brown for basically free. So that's pretty sweet.
That's good, because that was tough. They just traded away picks. That was it, which looks like a pirate's bounty at this point.
3rd and 5th. The only thing I can say, and I think I already said it in the group me, is they weren't going to use those well anyway. You might as well give it a shot with bleach mustache.
Yeah, dude. Anyway, I might as well get you out of here. We did almost 80 minutes here, so a little bit of Bolenbaugh for you this week. We'll get you back in here too. I can actually bring the studio to you next time too. So maybe we get some Star Pizza and set up the old studio.
We can set it up in Star Pizza, get some background noise.
Pretend like we're like a radio show.
Radio show. Yeah, we're like 95.7 The Game.
Dude, honestly, what do you think they would do if we did that?
They'd give us free drinks.
I could literally set this up in Star Pizza. And
we'll give them a call. We'll give them a call.
Hey, can we do a live podcast? We're this huge fantasy football league. It's been 10 years long.
Everyone listens to it in the league.
Oh, shit. We got to do picks.
Oh, we got
I
for
totally
next week?
forgot. Yeah, next week's picks. Hold up. Whew. Almost lost it there. All right. So we got Kyler, barely newer, against Kittle and McShits. I got myself. Sorry, Bako. But, well, Bacon's projected to score 92 points next week.
Bacon's getting hit with the bye weeks early. He has Bell. He has Kittle.
Yeah.
Both of those guys on buys. He can. We'll see if Damian Williams is back. Hopefully he starts his Chiefs wide receiver. Or, fuck it. Go for the 2 tight. Or no, he's got Disley to go in, so he gets to play Disley.
Yeah.
I'll probably roll with you, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, I got me. Pick to win, me. I will probably start Jordan Howard.
Learn from your mistake.
Against Green Bay. No, dude.
Maybe you could package those 2 players together and get one decent player.
I might just start Hill and hope he gets a garbage time touchdown.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. So I got me. Locketed, cocked, and loaded against Jameson on the rocks. This is a good one.
This is a good one. Bill always puts up a strong defense against Pebbles. I think Pebbles always scores like his lowest of the season against Bill, it seems like.
So he's got Chris Carson against Arizona. We'll see if they give him the reins back. Those fumbles have been fucking him. Aguilar is still going to be the top target there against Green Bay, but Green Bay's defense has been pretty nasty, so they might limit Aguilar a little bit. Might be a more low-scoring game. I'm going to take Bill on this one.
I think I'm going to take Pebbles. I think Austin Eckler and Alvin Kamara are just going to go crazy. I think
Eckler against Miami.
Eckler against Miami. So Bill also has Keenan Allen against Miami. I just think they're going to be ahead, and maybe won't need Keenan Allen as much. And then Kamara they leaned on him so much last week. I think they're going to continue to lean on him, and he might get another over 25, 30 points this week.
Well, he's got him against Dallas, which I think is going to be more of a grinding type game than people think.
You think so?
Because, they kind of grinded it out against a shitty Miami team. And Carson Wentz is going against that Green Bay defense.
But that grinding it out against Miami. The Dallas did.
Yeah,
okay.
they didn't score points for
Yeah.
like the first half, and then like halfway through the third quarter.
Yeah.
So I got Wentz having a bad game. I got Aguilar having a bad game. I got Thielen having a bad game against Chicago. And I have Eckler having a day where he might sit down for Justin Jackson at any point because Miami's so fucking bad.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I got Jameson on the rocks on that one.
All right, we'll agree to disagree.
Okay. Then we got Sean up against you.
Oh, nice.
And I'll give a little bit better fantasy feedback to Bronze Sean. He's got the little bronze circle around his avatar.
So he's projected a little bit low just because he doesn't have Breida.
Yeah, he doesn't have Breida.
Or Garoppolo because the Niners are on there. A week 4 bye, by the way. That's so early. That's brutal.
The only
actually.
problem is he doesn't really have another running back. He has Williams on Green Bay, so maybe 5 more points. He's still not projected to score more than. He's got to get a quarterback. So
That sucks. He just picked up Garoppolo and then has to.
yeah, he's gonna pick
cover
up
him.
He'll probably be in the
Daniel Jones sweepstakes?
Daniel Jones
Sweepstakes?
sweepstakes. So if anyone has some fab they want to bet against Sean, that'd be a good.
Yeah, we could drive this
That'd
price
be a good
up.
keep away. Daniel Jones 4 touchdowns.
I was
Already-
thinking this would have been the perfect year for Max's quarterback strategy.
Yeah.
With all the injuries, somebody definitely would have folded by now and needed one of his
100%.
stockpile from last year.
So I got you for obvious reasons.
I agree.
Next up, we got Max against Hockencock. The battle of mediocrity, 8th and 7th. I think I got Max in this one. I think this is going to be the week that Max finally busts out. He's got DJ Moore against Houston, which I like. He's got Wilson against Arizona, which I really like. He's finally starting Wilson. And he's got Gurley against Tampa Bay, which kind of spells like, a rebound game for Gurley. So I got Maxwell.
I want to go Brad just because Max has some tough matchups with Dalvin Cook. He's going against Chicago, which is going to be Dalvin Cook's like toughest matchup of the year. However, looking at Brad's team, he has to start Royce Freeman
And Hawkinson.
and he has to start Hawkinson, and I'm concerned about that. He could go Duke Johnson, but he looks like he has given up on him.
Finally got McLaurin in his lineup.
McLaurin is currently in the lineup, but we'll see if he pre-sights to change him out. I'm going to go with Max here.
All right, Max. So we both got Max.
Yeah.
All right, then we got Weaver versus Scott's team. Well, Scott is projected to score a very high 127.
That's high.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Do you think Edelman's going to play? He seemed
I don't
like he
think
was pretty
Edelman's
banged
gonna
up.
play. What does this little orange box say? Will be good. All right, so he will play, it looks like.
All right. Weaver also has to sub in a flex with Goodwin out, but he could go, I don't know, Westbrook or something.
Actually, I might take Scott here. He's finally done with that Cam Newton experiment. He's got Watkins, Edelman, and Adams. That's a pretty nasty trio if they all play. Tariq Cohen, he's got to get rid of him. He's never going to... I don't know why he's projected for 10. He's never going to score 10. Mixon is kind of having a rebound kind of year. I think I got to go with Scott on this one, actually.
I'm going to bet that Weaver's going to put Justin Jackson into his flex from his bench against Miami, and he's going to get 2 touchdowns in the second half, and Weaver's going to take it.
Oh, nice. I like that. Bold.
A lot of things need to happen.
And then we've got Colin versus Ebert. He should definitely spell comeback C-U-M back.
Mhm.
But I think we'd already discussed that. It's a little tough to pull that up and work, though. You're like in your office, your cubicle, and your boss comes up on you. What's true comeback? Like, you don't want to know.
Let me go into. What do you think about Antonio Brown? Nice in the workplace.
Let's
argument.
do a podcast about
Yeah,
Yeah, Saquon's out, so Gallman's in, right?
Gallman.
Dude, he doesn't have Gallman, does he? Oh,
Yeah, he
there
does.
he is. There he is. My bad. All right. So wide receiver spot empty. I don't know why his wide receiver spot's empty, but he's going to have to figure out something quick there.
Yeah.
And
Who's got Anderson and Pettis on buys this week? An early tough bye week.
Anderson's been on a bye all year, so I'm not saying much.
He's
They've
trying.
both been on buys, really.
Yeah, really.
You got Colin. I just don't like.
I'm gonna,
He's gonna stick
Colin
with
did well.
John Ross, dude.
I'm gonna go with Colin this week. I think Evan's on bye week, and Evan's on bye week and struggling with injuries. I think Colin's gonna get his win.
I'm picking Colin too. This is Colin. Will go 2-2. That's pretty nice for his team. Anyway, so now we're really gonna wrap it out. So, yeah, thank you for coming all the way to Concord. It's pretty late now. It's like 10.
Yeah, it's all right.
All right.
But yeah, thanks for having me. This was fun.
All right, man.
Excited for the next one.
Just a couple of best friends hanging out, best friends hanging out, best friends hanging out.